And we're live.
All right.
And so I'm going to go ahead and share the book cover.
Mm, okay.
Well, not the cover, but the flyer. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is day one, chapter one of Mastering or Awakening the Master Family by Yao Nyamekye Morris. And so I want us to get an opportunity to introduce ourselves. Welcome, Jennifer.
Welcome, peace, prosperity, and abundance, everybody. My name is Jenny Marie, the Abundant Sister. It's a pleasure to be here.
Greetings, and tell us a little bit about yourself and what it is that you do.
Well, I am um in a place where I'm just learning as much as I can. I'm focused on all things abundance, wellness, health, peace, financial freedom. That's super important. I'd like to call myself an aspiring astrologer, herbalist, all types of things, entrepreneur. Um, yeah, and now
All
a
right,
narrator,
all right.
right?
Okay, so I did share it. I ain't gonna keep it up here. Boom. So today we are well, welcome back. Everybody that is new, welcome to the platform. I am Nina. With Styles by Nina LLC, and I am a entrepreneur. What I do in my spare time, for those of you that don't know, is garden. It's my favorite pastime, and also make body and hair products. All of my products are catered to the individual, and in that, I am beginning to make my products according to the herbs for the astrology. I'll say, what do you call it? The astrology phase we're in.
Hmm.
So this month's body butter featured cinnamon, one of the herbs that is related to Aquarius. And so holler at me, Jennifer. Also, did you want to share your business?
Oh yeah, I also make body products, Soul Sister Beauty, and they are custom fragrances, but they are 100% natural, raw, and organic. Um, yeah, and so I'm also a narrator, so I do voiceover work. Working on just growing that business, hopefully full time eventually. And yeah,
And that is,
thank you.
anytime I want you to put it out there. I love Jennifer's voice, you all. So I definitely wanted her to be a part of the book club. She has a soothing voice to me.
Oh, thank you.
So I am excited about that, and also I enjoy working with you because you inspire me to be more organized.
Oh, same here. Same here. Nina's, you are constantly showing me how to just be fearless and just get out there and do that. Just before we started, I was telling you, I haven't never done anything like this before, and I want to prepare and do this and do that. And she's like, girl, just get on here.
Look at me. I felt bad. I'm like, we jumping off the porch today. Okay, y'all. So we were just trying to give everybody a little bit of information about the both of us. We are I'll say sprouting entrepreneurs. We're expanding, and so in that, we just want to make sure we're giving back as well and doing some things in relation to pleasure, because as an
Mhm.
entrepreneur, you work all of the time. And so that's what I was telling my good sis. I was like, well, we are reading for enjoyment, but we just are sharing it with the public. Therefore, No pressure.
Mhm.
Y'all forgive us if we misstate a word or if we get a little pause. We will be discussing as well. We don't want to be like robots reading, because in my past reading videos there was something, it's like, you gotta add a little flavor. So
Mhm.
anytime you want to stop, let me know. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. And welcome to the person that just came in. The chat box is open if you have any questions as well. Okay, so the book we are reading is Awakening the Master Feminine. Next book club meetup, I will have a flyer. I totally forgot, and so it's all good. Um, the House of the Woman, and so this is a book we want to share this book because we are also in a high priestess class at this moment in time, and this was recommended by our instructor Amina. A lot of you know her as Wise Royalty on Instagram, and we both have already read this chapter,
Mhm.
and it is just mind blowing.
Mhm.
So we're gonna get into it, and we'll just pretty much take turns. Okay, so chapter one, the House of the Woman. The House of the Woman is a metaphor for the attributes in nature which define the distinction of female from the male. The house of the woman contains all of these possible traits and attributes. In other words, all of the possible feminine attributes that any woman has ever had, for the spirit of each woman contains a composite of the spirits of every ancestor of that woman, going back 10,000 years. And on the physical side, in her DNA, all of these physical attributes are stored, and she can bring forward any one of them. In other words, any female born today has the potential to manifest any trait that any woman in her bloodline has had. Thus, the house of the woman is like a bank of potential attributes. These attributes are stored there in her storehouse, but they do not do anything or cause anything to happen unless they are activated. There are tens of thousands of these attributes which make a woman which make a woman feminine and make her different from a man. Any woman can manifest any one of these attributes. The four feminine archetypes. There are four sets of these feminine attributes. The traits or attributes we describe above in the house of the woman fit naturally into four categories. We can say these are archetypes of the feminine energy, and they derive from the elemental nature of energy. We name the four archetypes as the moon, well, number one, the moon, number two, the seated hawk, number three, the elegant rose, and number four, the treasure chest. These four archetypes of feminine energy correspond to the most common life tasks of the female. Maternal instinct is number one. Number two is right brain orientation and leaning or learning. Number three, pleasure attributes. And number four, nesting instinct. So each archetype is not one attribute, but a bank or category of attributes which have similar functions. These four archetypes of the feminine energy define what we call a feminine woman or a woman with natural feminine energy. If a female brought forward all 100% of the possible attributes from all four archetypes, she would become the highest and best version of a woman she is capable of becoming. She will almost be a goddess and an embodiment of divinity. The more she is able to awaken these traits out of the dormant and latent state and infuse them into her actual physical and spiritual being, the more perfect will be her expression of womanhood. The less of these traits and attributes she is able to develop, then the more she will resemble a juvenile or an animal or an artificial human.
Mm.
Now, in the table that follows, we show the key words for each feminine archetype and contrast them with each other. As we move through the book, we will be exploring each aspect of the feminine nature in some detail. Not every woman is expressing all four archetypes, and part of the job of awakening circles is to uncover for each woman in a healing program which archetypes she has brought forward and which archetypes are still asleep in her subconscious. This information will be very helpful in changing her relationships, changing her sexual life, and improving her reproductive health. And a female can change her feminine profile. That is what this book is all about. And so I'm going to get up on the screen the the graph. I guess this was called. Let's see. Yeah. Thank you for your patience. Again, we'll have this all running smoothly, but I did forget to send the pictures to the computer. So give me a minute. Let's see. It just stunned me. It says when she said, well, when he said a juvenile or an animal or artificial human. It's like,
Right. I was just like, oh my.
you straight to the chase. Like, which are you?
The juvenile piece is really what stands out for me, right? Where you just find there can be, women who are childish. I mean,
Mhm.
men too, but, we're speaking about women in this particular case where
Right.
just very young, tantrum throwing, you know, that's what I envision.
Girl, you
As
just
a
read
woman.
me.
Stop.
Get out my business. Listen. Yeah. Okay, so we do have it. We're getting it pulled up. I just want to crop it a little.
So this is also saying that women, the most common life tasks of the female are right-brained. Um, I guess tasks, right brain. So that's like right brain is logic. Is that what right
Mm,
brain is? Right brain is like logic and left brain is creativity and things like that. I think it is.
let me look it up.
Oh, actually, I have them mixed up. So
Okay.
right brain is creativity, intuition, arts, creation, feeling, and imagination. I had them mixed up that whole time. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, because in class that when we were speaking on we supposed to be in a place of creativity.
Mhm. Mhm.
We out here trying to work harder than the men.
Mhm.
All right, so I got it pulled up. Uh, I'm trying to share the screen without it looking so okay. Window. There we are. Boom. All right, so these are the four archetypes. We're about to get back into the book. So the first archetype, as we can see, is the moon archetype. Now the icon for the moon archetype is the moon, and inside the moon are a clutch of eggs. The image for purposes of visualization is a young mother with her baby to her breast. It is an intuitive faculty of nurturing others. It is to supply the need implied by a growing thing. It is the capacity to give and the desire to give without a sense of loss. It generates an unending supply based on the need to give unceasingly. It is the cornucopia for the starving. It is the well in the desert. We use the icon of the moon to denote the component or archetype of the feminine energy that is associated with the abstract concept of an egg. This type of feminine energy is designed to bring forth new life or support existing life. The attributes of the moon archetype are receptiveness, instinct to nurture, devotion, attention to detail, maternal. When the woman's master feminine faculty has awakened this archetype in the woman, she becomes fertile. And more than this, she gains the capacity to give without a sense of loss. Normally, this is a contradiction. When you subtract a quantity from a thing, it should logically become less. But in this case, the woman actually becomes more. She gives and yet she increases. This faculty is special and different from any other component of the feminine energy. The mechanism within this energy is such that it reorders the woman's spirit and body to compensate for her giving. Her body takes in extra nutrients so that she always has more than what is needed to give and yet retain the balance. Her spirit takes in extra energy so that she distributes energy but never runs low. The perfect example of the moon icon is the mother breastfeeding her baby. Women gain weight during pregnancy, and as they breastfeed the baby, they gradually lose weight. But when they reach their ideal weight, continued feeding of the baby causes her to gain muscle mass. And when the baby is done with the breast and converts to table food, the mother is left with a better physique than when she first got pregnant. There's always more milk than the baby needs. Without this energy present, she will experience difficulty with the milk. It may hurt to feed the baby. She does not enjoy it. When the energy is present, the mother experiences a feeling similar to sexual arousal as the baby sucks. She can have an orgasm, and this is normal. It helps the milk. This energy sets up in the female a disposition to give. She desires to give, and the act of giving is pleasing to her. In giving and in seeing the target of her giving grow, the woman is made spiritually whole. The more this energy is cultivated in the woman's persona, the more generous is her attitude. The only thing that disturbs this cycle of regeneration is the issue of security. If the woman does not feel secure, her generous nature suffers. This energy inspires in the woman a desire to form a family. It bonds her to the man in a family way. It takes her deeper into a yin profile and away from the outside world. Thus, she gives over these external chores to a man to do, and he is charged to protect her and do the external things for her. Thus, this energy causes a woman to seek out a man to regulate the external stuff outside of the door of the home. Okay, so you said you wanted to still alternate the archetypes.
Sure. Let
Oh,
me take the next archetype.
yeah.
Okay. So the next archetype is the seated hawk. And as you see in the grid pictured here, the seated hawk is synergistic, imposing, intuitive right brain thinking, and they intuit the plan. The icon of the seated hawk is a woman's body with the head of a hawk. The image, for purposes of visualization, is a wise and stern looking woman holding a set of blueprints in her hand. She is seated on a chair of authority. Rays of power radiate out from the chair. This energy represents the head, the plan, and the blueprint. When the master feminine faculty awakens this archetype, it brings on the line the women's um, it brings on the line the women's intuitive function of the right brain. This is a woman's ability to intuit the solution or plan straight from the spirit world or DNA. It is without reason or logic. This is the woman who is moving all things from behind the scenes. This is the queen bee who orchestrates the life of the colony of bees from a central place. She does not do anything herself. Everything is automatic. There is no thinking. This is the conductor who plays no instruments. She gives each musician a sheet with notes on it, their own part, but she only has the big score, the blueprint. The woman is yin and thus cannot set the plans in motion herself. To do this, she needs a man who sees the individual steps and can follow in a linear step by step way. The male has vision. He looks ahead to see what is needed to do the plan, what obstructions must be removed first. But males typically do not comprehend the big picture. They are too caught up in the steps and the separate pictures to see that all is connected. The male has difficulty seeing that love is a circle. It connects the end back to the source. It is in love that all beginnings and outcomes have true purpose. Men think you need to create a logical plan based on some purpose. The woman knows that the plan and the purpose are already there. You just need to sense it, to feel it. You cannot always understand your way through life. You feel it first. Some men can see the big picture, but the masculine energy is left brain in orientation. It is okay. They work well together. When the woman has the full connection into her right brain hemisphere, men have the tendency to follow her. Why? Perhaps because she is nearly always right. The superior man will follow her and be happy. He knows following the right plan brings success. The inferior problem, the inferior man may follow her because he fears being wrong again. His ego has a problem giving her credit. He feels bad because he did not come up with the plan that worked. He does not know his role. As a man, sometimes you follow and sometimes you lead. Now, when the woman combines the seated hawk attribute with the pleasure attribute of the elegant rose, men are compelled to follow her. They line up to do her bidding. But we must be careful here. A lot of women just naturally have their right brain thing going on, but most do not. They get a hunch here and there, but that is not what we are talking about. The right brain requires trance. You have to cultivate this faculty. To be pure, the woman must not inject her left brain logic in there. So often, the right brain intuition goes smack dead in the face of logic. Everything says go west. Society says go west. Your intuition says no, go east. You must have the courage to follow. Understand that the womb is a direct connection to Mother God. God is not seeking to make things difficult for us. He, she, it wants us to know the plan. Hmm. Okay, so we now have the elegant rose. The elegant rose is joyous, beautiful, sensual, artistic, carefree, arousing, giving and generating pleasure, redesigning reality. The icon of the elegant rose is a splendid rose on a pillow of silk. The image, for purposes of visualization is a very voluptuous and seductive woman lounging on a couch. She wears a suggestive outfit, slit in the front to expose her sleek. She is enticing. She is effortlessly beautiful.
The
On the couch
sound,
with her,
the sound is going in and out like muffled.
uh-oh, let me see if I could do something about that. How is that? Is that better?
Yes, it's way clear.
Okay, let me just tighten this up real quick. Give me a second.
Take your time.
Hmm, okay, let me hold the book here. Good? Still good? Okay. On the couch with her are honey, flowers, and frankincense. The elegant rose imparts an essence and form into the woman that causes her to be experienced by the environment around her as being pleasing. She especially generates pleasure to men. More importantly, this essence of the elegant rose causes the woman to feel pressure herself from the act of giving pleasure and beauty to others. It is instinctively satisfying to her when she knows that others perceive her as being beautiful. She becomes wired so that it pleases her immensely to be touched, seen, smelled, tasted, and admired. She desires to place men into a trance, to intoxicate them. There is a power. When she combines her attractive energy with any of the other three archetypes, it compels men to engage that function. A woman generates this pleasure because she attains a harmony of form and function that is in harmonic resonance with key life vibrations. When fully expressed, this energy or vibration even has a positive effect on plants and animals. The vibration of the elegant rose is resident in silk, a love ballad, sweet fragrance, the view from a balcony, and the curves of a voluptuous woman. And the woman who carries this vibration is in harmony with all other things that do. The rose has no practical purpose. It looks beautiful because it just does. The archetype of the elegant rose imparts a feng shui to all it touches that creates sensuality. It is like silk compared to burlap, a love ballad compared to plain speech, a balcony instead of a window, a flower instead of weeds, the smell of frankincense, and the taste of a mango. It is self evident that the central theme of earthy experience is a sensual one. We have five senses to sense pleasure or pain. There is a component with feminine energy that supports and enhances our sensation of pleasure. The truest sensation of pleasure is natural to our being. In this sensation, nothing needs to be consumed, no one is hurt, nor is any quality diminished as this takes place. Natural pleasure occurs in the normal course of being what is. In the female, the component of feminine energy that supports the experience of pleasure is the archetype of the elegant rose. Men and women are prototypes of the deity, serving as vessels through which the creator can come into the world and experience his, her, its creation. There are certainly many reasons why we were created, but a central theme of life is experience in its many forms. Our destiny and evolution begins our journey into experience. Everything we must do to live and thrive on the earth is by nature designed to bring pleasure to us. Food by nature satisfies our appetite, bringing pleasure. Reproduction brings pleasure. Interaction with the natural environment brings pleasure. The earth has an abundance of stuff to see, eat, hear, feel, and smell. And when we live in natural alignment, Most of this experience is designed to generate one pleasure after another. Of course, if you abandon the natural way, if you live out of alignment with nature, you will probably experience more pain than pleasure. The sensation of pleasure is a central aspect of our creative and artistic faculties. All females have the same hardware for detecting the vibrations of sensation, unless they are blind or impaired. But their brains do not interpret these vibrations the same. The response is conditional. In other words, our spirit determines how we perceive a sensation, rather we see it as being pleasing or not. This is an energy thing. One woman walks through the park and experiences breathtaking beauty. Another woman walks through the same park and sees only trees and grass and scenery. One woman smells incense and it is to her a sweet aroma. Another woman smells the same incense and to her it stinks. Why the difference? It can be shown through hypnosis, and other means that people can condition themselves to feel pleasure at sensations they otherwise had little reaction to. It is the change in her auric field, her energy, which makes a difference. There's a similar component in the male human that has the same basic effect. When the master feminine faculty brings the archetype of the elegant rose online in the female's persona, she gains the capacity to experience more and more sensations as pleasure. At the same time, this energy shapes that female into a being that generates pleasure to her entire environment. The key to her ability in this regard is that the female gets pleasure from being pleasing and giving pleasure. When the master feminine faculty starts to awaken the feminine energy in a young teen girl, she starts to act out of a subconscious program that says she is joyous, beautiful, sensual, artistic, and carefree. She immediately wants to be seen, to groom herself different, and to explore her newfound sensuality. A young girl then looks to her parents and society for permission to experience this pleasure. If she continues to cultivate her feminine energy and receives permission to enjoy pleasure, the extent to which the elegant rose can awaken is infinite. But there are many forces in our society that work to shut down her development. And few girls continue to cultivate this energy into their adult lives. Unfortunately, in the typical modern female, this is the most repressed and underdeveloped portion of her feminine energy. Many of the false beliefs and fears that infest our society impact on our perception of pleasure. This is especially true of sexual pleasure. You would think that a society would encourage pleasure as part of the experience of abundance. But in the scarcity model, pleasure is more associated with things you have to buy, and therefore permission to experience pleasure is associated with degrees of wealth. Sex is also closely tied to the ability to sell things in a commercial sense. The media uses sex to sell stuff, and therefore attractive women also associate their ability to give pleasure to men with a monetary value. Many women do develop the curves and physical features that make them attractive as a result of the early influence of this energy, but many more do not. And even many who do start to reverse the effect in a few years. When you walk on the beach and feel the sand and cool water, it is naturally pleasant. The ocean is not hurt. You do not need to do something special to get the feeling. There is no consumption involved. When you look at a rose, it is pleasant. If a man and a woman come together and kiss, it can be just like this. If they are both attracted to one another and both are willing, then the kiss produces pleasure. This is then natural pleasure. In order for this to be so, the man must experience pleasure in the act of giving the woman pleasure. and the woman must experience pleasure in the act of giving the man pleasure. However, if the woman has not cultivated her sexual energy and the archetype of the elegant rose is not active in her persona, then she can give the man pleasure, but she will not experience pleasure from giving him pleasure. She kisses him because she likes him, but he gets a sexual thrill out of the kiss and is aroused. She just likes him, but gets no thrill from the kiss. Her elegant rose is not there. When this archetype of the feminine energy is not developed, the female cannot and will not experience any pleasure naturally or fully. Let me say that again. When the archetype of the elegant rose is not fully expressed in the woman, she will have a diminished capacity to experience sexual pleasure or any pleasure. In such a state, her entire sensory array is thrown off balance. Her appetites attempt to compensate for this by overemphasizing the desire for other things, such as food. This is how many women start their teen years with dispositions for drugs, alcohol, and cigarettes. The repercussions of this are wide ranging. If the elegant rose archetype is substantially awake, the woman's sensory array is fully sensitive and available for management. She is wired to experience a full array of pleasures. Her nervous system will interpret many common sensations and stimuli as being pleasurable. She may even find some things associated with pain as having a pleasing component within. If this woman eats an ice cream cone and a woman who does not have this faculty awake eats the same ice cream cone, it is not at all the same experience. The woman with her elegant rose awake will enjoy the cone. She will taste the flavors deeply and probably be able to tell you what spices are in there. But she will have no compulsion to eat a cone next week because this food is not in alignment with her biochemistry. It tastes good to her, but she can take it or leave it. Nor will she have a desire to eat this food when she is depressed or anxious. Now, on the other hand, the woman without the elegant rose faculty will have a stronger reaction to the taste of the ice cream cone, even though she cannot sense the flavors and textures of the components as well. The consumption of the ice cream treat is sexually satisfying to her for her on a low level. She is emotionally attached to this food because it takes the place of something else she is not capable of fully experiencing. If she is depressed or anxious, she will desire it, even though some of the components of the ice cream are toxic to her. She will store these toxins in fat cells to be able to process the negative memories that blocked her faculty, as well as the unnatural programming that gives ice cream an elevated status in her brain chemistry. The woman who has the elegant rose awake will be more optimistic and have a more natural worldview. She will tend to desire to experience stuff more than normal and be opposed to regulations and people who criticize her for enjoying life. There are no boundaries here unless she is evolved in other ways. In other words, she will tend to ignore moral, ethnic, legal, or safety concerns if these seek to regulate or hinder her from experiences of pleasure. If the elegant rose archetype is substantially awake, the woman's sensory array is fully sensitive. Her hormones and dispositions are in harmony to this. She is wired to deliver a full array of pleasures to the opposite sex. The form of her body will be sexually attractive. In some cases, her spirit body will be charismatic and magnetic. By magnetic, we mean that literally. Men who see her will be drawn to her by more than just her physical attraction. In the presence of her auric field, a man who does not have full control of himself will be placed into a mild trance state. In this trance state, He can easily be influenced and programmed by her. She is built to give pleasure, and she enjoys giving this pleasure almost as much as she enjoys receiving it. She wants to keep the lights on during sex because she loves looking at the face of her man as she sends him into outer space. Men will enjoy smelling her, and in extreme cases, she will emit pheromones. When men will enjoy hearing her talk, regardless of the content, just like mothers love to hear their babies make just about any kind of sound. So men are enchanted by the sound she makes. If she can sing, entire crowds of people will enjoy it and will have the most profound effect on her mate. Her touch is very pleasing and often has healing qualities as well. She will be capable of experiencing sexual pleasure through openings in her body not normally associated with sex. Her eyes, ears, mouth, and anus are erogenous zones. She can condition and train herself to experience pleasure with these openings in a number of ways. Such a woman is easy to arouse in bed. She might let a man tie her up or role play, but these things are not necessary for her and may be a distraction. For her foreplay is more than preparation. She is getting more pleasure out of the foreplay than most women get out of sex. Her main challenge is to find a man who can satisfy her. Most men and women will judge her or seek to take advantage of her if they discover how deeply she can engross herself in an experience. Very few men are trained to be capable of bringing her adequate levels of satisfaction on a regular basis. Therefore, they have two very serious potential issues. One of these is the danger of sexually transmitted diseases, and another is the very real probability of infidelity on their part. As you will see, our creative faculty, our sexual experience, and our sensation of pleasure of any kind are all tied together. The onset of the elegant rose faculty puts the woman into a state that is more right brain in orientation. Unless she intentionally cultivates a left brain presence through her job or other aspects of her being, she will appear to the untrained eye as being mentally slow, easily attracted, easily distracted, and somewhat illogical about routine things. A teenage girl in the midst of this dynamic can go from an A student in math to a C math student in a few months. She is not decreased in intelligence, but the equation between her right brain and left brain has changed. It will come back in a few years if she wants it to. It is what is called the butterfly effect. Butterflies rarely fly in a straight line, but they get where they're going. If a woman awakes her elegant rose faculty and the other archetypes of her feminine energy have not come online fully yet, there will be a certain level of imbalance in her behavior. I have observed such women park their car and leave the windows and sunroof open. At the time, clouds overhead clearly signaled that rain was about to come. They go inside their home, and it never registers that they should have put up the windows. In 2 hours, they come back outside to go somewhere, and the car is soaked from the rain. There is no blame in this. She just needs to finish bringing her energy online. Certainly, this archetype can have its drawbacks at stages, but the benefits far outweigh any negatives. Most women today do not manifest their elegant rose archetype to a great degree. These women tend to be more grounded in reality, more left brain in orientation, less attractive to men, and more focused on their careers. They may not see life through the rose colored glasses that the females with the elegant rose are inclined to. Therefore, this is this is the tendency for the underdeveloped women to judge the women who have awakened this faculty. Sometimes this judgment is harsh. This is counterproductive, for all women need to assist each other to full development of their feminine energy. No matter which of these four archetypes a female brings forward, she can assist other women by just being in their present. Her energy will help them bring forth their energy.
Okay. So we're gonna pick up at the treasure chest. So the icon of the treasure chest is a decorative treasure, uh-uh, a decorative chest or box or tin. The image for it, just for purposes of visualization, imagine the chest or tin sitting on an altar surrounded by gold coins, precious gems, title deeds of property, ancient books, patent certificates, and treasure maps. Behind the altar stands the goddess with her wings outstretched. She grants a blessing to the things on the altar. Inside the chest is the spirit of the goddess. Y'all give me a minute. I had not got the cough drop. Inside the chest is the spirit of the goddess, the highest and best version of womankind. It implies abundance without corruption. It speaks to the gradual steering of mankind away from the inferior life to the superior life. It is the sacred use of material things, the alchemy of the mundane into the spiritual. It stores up treasure. The treasure chest is talking about the internal drive of a woman to gather resources to support her domestic economy. Down through the ages, men have been thought of as hunters and women as gatherers. So the treasure chest energy is the nesting and gathering aspect of the feminine energy. This is the source of the female urge to shop. There is a natural component of the feminine energy that desires to experience the abundance and plenty of creation. But this is different from her maternal drive to reproduce and nurture. In fact, some ways, and in fact, in some ways, it is the opposite of that drive. The attention of the mother is focused in toward her children. The focus of the female with the treasure chest energy, is focused toward a collective, a group, a tribe. It is community. It is more selfish in that she wants to be a part of something bigger so that she can personally prosper and enjoy resources, society, wealth, and refinement. In the case of the moon energy, she wants only to give to others. Here, she wants to take so she wants to take so that she can experience. In our society, this urge presents her with many challenges and issues. In nature, the yin and feminine element is not aggressive against other life forms. The yang male is a hunter, but the yin female is a gatherer. Hunting is yang, gathering is yin. Can you see that? Hunting implies that you are going to kill and violate what you hunt. It is blood. This is not feminine. Hunting implies scarcity. Gathering is yin. Vegetables do not run away from you. There's abundance, plenty for everybody. You just calmly walk up and harvest it. You do not hunt rice, berries, or mangoes. You just pick or cut it. Hunting is about scarcity. Gathering is about abundance. Now, these same principles apply to harvesting men, money, property, and intangible corporate assets. In the scarcity model, in the hunting motive, there is the implication that in order for us to have more, we need to deny somebody else. To carry this energy, a woman has to purge this false belief from her psyche. The treasure chest energy represents the natural way we harvest the abundance all around us. The natural model is a the natural model is a model of abundance. But the average person may say, so what? Yes, there are billions of dollars in the economy and tons of food on farms and tons of fish in the sea and all manner of stuff in stores and warehouses, but it is not mine. The individual person cries out, "Where's my abundance? How do I get mine?" The golden chest represents this harvesting and collecting energy. How do we take the potential that exists out there and make that something we have personally? The goddess holds in her hand the key to this question. The key is unity. The image of the goddess conveys two things. The way to best harvest abundance is through joint effort. Different tasks but common purpose. It is the theme of unity. The way to best enjoy abundance after harvest is to share. Different contributions but common sharing. It is a theme of unity. This reminds me of nation building. We all talk about it, but then everybody's always on their individual mentality.
Mm-hmm.
So the treasure chest energy is the gathering aspect of the feminine energy that seeks to bring about prosperity via a joint or group effort. It is one common unity. Therefore, a woman with the treasure chest energy harvests what she needs and does not hunt it. This applies to money, resources, mates, land, and intangible assets. Some women today hunt men in an aggressive way instead of gently gathering them in. Whenever a woman hunts something, she is pretty much sure to damage it. Femininity is an energy. What is femininity? What is the definition of being feminine? The thing that makes a woman feminine is an energy. It is important to note that while a woman is born with the tendency to be feminine, she can make the choice not to remain feminine. Being defined as a woman by gender and being defined as a being feminine by energy. I'm going to say that again. Being defined as a woman by gender and being defined as being feminine by energy are two separate things. The feminine energy causes a child to be born with female genes and female reproductive organs. That is physical. Once the child is born and has these physical qualities of genes and reproductive organs, she is by gender a woman. But after that, she has a choice. If she decides to cultivate the male energy instead of the female energy natal to her, she can and will become more and more masculine until it becomes hard to tell her apart from a man. She will start to look more like a man and act more like a man. It is the energy that gives a human woman the qualities that make her female as opposed to male. It is not her physical womb or genes that make her female. In order to define this feminine energy and the master feminine faculty, we need to introduce some concepts and terms that you may not be familiar with. Try to bear with me. This abstract stuff is very necessary. Humans are energy beings. This is the beginning of the deeper understanding of sex, gender, personality, or emotions, etc. Our body, our mind, our life is what it is because of our energy. When we use the word spirit or feel, energy, body, or life force, all of these things are talking about energy. We can define feminine energy based on one, how it is different from masculine energy, and two, based on the attributes it imparts to a living organism. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to share the book cover. You need to bear with me. That's not it. Okay. We start our lesson in quantum physics at the atomic level. Let's talk about yin and yang. Yin and yang are opposites of each other. Think about electricity, had a, which has a plus charge and a minus charge. Yin and yang are like that. Yin and yang are elemental concepts. The yin defines the elemental nature of an energy. The proton of an atom has a yin energy which draws things in toward it and creates the space or form of the shape of the atom. The proton, with its yin energy, holds the electron or yang element in place inside the field or form of the atom. The proton is passive outside of the atom. It does not react with other electrons outside of the atom. The masculine or yang equal to this is the electron, which is always seeking to escape the atom, moving about the perimeter and always in motion. The yang or electron is active outside of the atom, constantly seeking to act on or with other electrons. The yin is active and dominant inside the atom, controlling the yang electron. The electron or yang is dominant outside the atom, controlling interaction with other atoms. And I'm going to read that again because I got confused. Okay, so we're going to start. When we start our lesson in quantum physics at the atomic level, let's talk about yin and yang. Yin and yang are opposites of each other. Think about electricity, which has a plus charge and a minus charge. Yin and yang are like that. Yin and yang are elemental concepts. The yin defines the elemental nature of an energy. The proton of an atom has a yin energy, which draws things in toward it and creates the space or form or shape of the atom. The proton, with its yin energy, holds the electron or the yang element in place inside the field or form of the atom. The proton is passive outside of the atom. It does not react with other electrons outside of the atom. The masculine or yang equal to this is the electron, which is always seeking to escape the atom, moving about the perimeter and always in motion. The yang or electron is active outside of the atom, constantly seeking to act on or with other electrons. The yin is active and dominant inside the atom, controlling the yang electron. The electron or yang is dominant outside the atom, controlling interaction with other atoms. Okay, and so I'm gonna put up here another chart, another graph, and this is the chart. All right. Let's see. All right. So female energy is assigned to the yin polarity. Male energy is assigned to the yang polarity. The opposite energy. At the basic or elemental level, feminine attributes are listed in the left column, while the opposing masculine attributes are listed on the right. This is the classic yin versus yang definition that applies to non-organic as well as organic things. Yin draws inward towards yourself like a vacuum. Yang pushes out from itself like an explosion. Yin traps energy, yang employs energy or frees it. Yin creates space and boundaries, yang creates reaction and expansion. Yin is more circular, excuse me, or triangular, and yang is more of a straight line, linear. These are general statements, they are not absolute. Once you start talking about organic beings, the simple yin or yang definition is not complex enough. Feminine and masculine qualities at the organic level begin to incorporate aspects of the mind, personality, and behavior. At the next level, we use general metaphors describing the energy by saying what it has the general tendency to make a person do, think, or behave. These are the basic attributes of the energy. Thus, we see similar dynamics to yin and yang in the organic cell. The cell membrane is the male or yang. The cell nucleus is the yin or female. Okay, and I'm pulling up the next chart. And what this reminds me of is the mitochondria. It was like a download. I couldn't get it out of my head. And so y'all can check the past videos and it's on mitochondria. Let's see. Okay, so this is the next chart. Give me one moment. Okay. What is the difference between attraction and arousal? Why is one more female than male? For it is obvious that males can be attractive and females can be aroused. Attraction implies drawing something toward you. The direction is important. Gravity pulls inward. Gravity is an attraction. Attraction is an action, not a reaction. Arousal, on the other hand, implies a reaction, not an action. It is male. Its direction is outward, away from the being. When you are aroused, it implies that you wish to take action on something outside of yourself. The thing that aroused you, okay, so when you are aroused, it implies that you wish to take action on something outside of yourself, the thing that aroused you. We see this direction of energy mirrored in the design of our reproductive organs. The female organs are directed inward, the male organ is directed outward. So there are two things we need to remember. First, when we say a person has a female energy or is feminine, this implies a direction to the energy. This direction is inward towards the person. Second, female energy tends to generate action, while male energy tends to generate reaction. Did you want to pick up here or you want me to go ahead and finish?
What would you can finish it if you like, or I could pick up either one. You want
Okay.
me to read it?
Yeah, so I can get this last piece of the graph on the back.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thus, the feminine energy is normally associated with first causes in life, such as nesting, fertility, etc. Thus, we say one female attribute is the tendency to be submissive. Why? Because once a woman sets an action in motion, such as attracting something to her, the cycle is not complete until the thing she attracts comes back and acts on her. If she is not submissive or sitting still, the action she has generated cannot be fulfilled. Thus, the cycle is as follows: the female starts something by generating an action. Her action energy goes out and stirs up stuff and causes a reaction. Her action energy goes out and bounces off all the male energy out there, which wakes up, reacts, and comes back toward her to do the thing she has instructed to be done. She has to sit still or be submissive and give the male energy a chance to construct or do the thing she has put into action. Can you see that? That is your lesson in quantum physics. And many women live in daily violation of the nature of their feminine energy and do not even know it. Did you know that that fibroid tumors result when a woman violates her feminine energy? A feminine woman is not attractive without being receptive and having a cause to be attractive. In other words, sending out attractive energy without allowing it to come back and create something is unnatural and dysfunctional. That is how fibroid tumors come about. A woman's purpose or cause can be what she chooses, but her energy is not truly feminine unless she has one. Her purpose can be wealth. Let's say, for purposes of illustration, that her particular life cause at one given point in time is to generate wealth. This woman walks out of her door and allows herself to express her attraction. This is her action. Her cause is to attract wealth. Her action is to be attractive. The final step is to receive the reaction. A truly feminine woman will not resist this. Men will react to her attractive energy, and she welcomes and is receptive to this. Because the energy she sent out was associated with wealth, her energy will build up in the men who respond to her a desire to create more wealth and then bring it to her. The men do not know this, they do not need to know. They simply respond based on their ability to respond. The more attractive and mainly receptive she is, the more they will respond. Arousal is more a male attribute than a female attribute. It is a reaction. It implies a projection of energy out from oneself. Sexual arousal results from the circulation of the hormone testosterone. Both men and women can secrete testosterone, but it is much more present in men. Males make and release testosterone directly. Females convert estrogen into testosterone and then release it. Males can be completely aroused by a female without setting up a field in advance. Just the vision of her doing something is enough to make them respond because they are only reacting. This is not true of a female. Feminine energy is different. The female has to create the action first before the reaction of the male has any impact on her. Feminine energy has to set up its cause and attractive field first before it can be completely and thoroughly aroused by any male. The female controls this. It has nothing to do with the male. The female constructs a sexual program early in life. It starts with her father. It is influenced by what the women around her say and do. It is influenced by her religion. It is influenced by her early life experience. But every woman creates her own special program that says, this is how much I'm going to let men arouse me, and this is the circumstance or conditions under which I will allow myself to be aroused. And this is her action, which determines how much of the reaction of arousal will be. All male energy is filtered through this filter. This is the definition of the threshold of arousal for a woman. And that is the end of chapter 1.
That was so good.
I know.
Um, we're gonna talk briefly about what stood out.
Mm-hmm.
For me, as I told you the other day, it's the part about the fibroids. In the back of my mind, it was always a fear because I know a lot of people that were diagnosed with fibroids, including my mom.
Mm.
And so, um, just the thought of it being your body, um, producing babies that don't fully develop, like blew my mind. And so, I know this book is going to bring so much more clarity because this is just chapter one.
That's what I was about to say. This is just the first. This is just the first chapter. Yeah, it's interesting to read. It was interesting to read through all four of the archetypes because I was able to identify parts of myself in all four of the
Hmm.
archetypes, and it wasn't until reading through this where it was just like, oh my goodness. So this explains why I am like this. One of the things that stood out for me was the moon archetype, where I've always seen myself as just a very giving person, never really concerned about loss because it was just giving freely. But it wasn't until getting in some relationships where that security piece was threatened. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, start pulling back. So that resonated very strongly for me.
And
Yep.
then the like you said, all four archetypes, there was something in each archetype that was like, dang, that was me. I feel like I started out as a young girl. Um the elegant rose. Um I feel like those were my younger years.
Mm,
And after being exposed to the world a little more, going into the seated hawk and then into the treasure chest. And not so much as the treasure chest part of me that is taken away from others, but just being single minded, trying to store up wealth and stuff.
the gathering.
Yeah, the gathering.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is deep. It's like dang. And another thing, what you were reading about the fibroids, it said that just the fibroids being a result, and I'm trying to find it. In other
That
words, sending out attractive energy without allowing it to come back to you and create something.
that sitting still, right?
Hmm. It's just unnatural and dysfunctional. So that was just like, dang. So you sending out that energy, but not really being receptive when it comes back. So that's
Mm-hmm. Being available to let that come back to you, that
mm-hmm,
what you've set out.
and I remember years of my
Mm.
life even dwelling in that energy, just putting it out there, and then when it comes, it's like, hold on now, you indulging the so, yeah. Right, and so
Yeah. I feel like I want to cultivate my elegant rose a little bit more. I really do.
yeah,
That's something I'm gonna be mindful about.
makes me want to. It reminds me of the elements, and so bringing all of them together and becoming balanced. Because I know for me, heavy. The elegant rose be kind of heavy over. So bringing all that in alignment and just really operating in your feminine more, because
Yeah.
just by force we're brought up seeing women operating in masculine number one, and then
Mm-hmm.
life happens and you get harder and harder
Mm-hmm.
instead of becoming soft and receptive. So we definitely gonna bring forth some alchemy reading this. All right, so do you want to say anything to close out, and don't forget to plug your channel because I'm gonna put it in the description box.
Yes, yes. YouTube. My channel is The Abundant Sister. That's Sistar. Just getting started, just launched. But most importantly, I just want to express gratitude for you, Nina, for even inviting me to participate in this. I'm super, super excited, and gratitude for each and every person who just tuned in and supported us here. Thank you.
Anytime, sis, and anybody else that wants to participate, book club is open. The more of us that participate, the faster we can get through books. Not that that's the goal, but we can read more books, and so that is the goal. Even if we decide to stay in this book and we end up with 10 people reading chapters apiece, that gives us the opportunity to learn two different ways. I am a learner by listening and also visually, and so we definitely was happening to those learning styles. Don't forget to hit my link on my YouTube channel, my link tree, if you're trying to get in touch with me about anything. All of my links are there, and also we will see y'all next Sunday. We're going to be
Yes.
reading chapter 2, The Decline of the Feminine Woman. Peace and power, everyone, and we're out of here.
Peace.